Hello group, here's an explanation of our project, and I will follow up with a demonstration. It's going to be slightly different. I'll note the differences while I'm giving the presentation. It's going to be different than the way we're going to present it in class, because we're not going to be using VNC Viewer, because that's what's allowing me to view the Raspberry Pi screen from my Windows laptop, but it's affected every time you spoof a MAC address. So we're not going to be using that. It's going to take it offline every time we spoof one. We won't be able to demonstrate network connectivity after we've changed the MAC. So anyhow, what we did is we wrote a script that first will ask you if you want to run this command, which will populate the ARP table and get all the MAC addresses on your network. That would be necessary if you had, if the network had a whitelist or a list of MAC addresses that are allowed through, and then an implicit deny policy otherwise, which is where every other MAC not in the list is not allowed. So you need to spoof one of those if that were the case. But first, so that's what it does first. If you say yes, then it will run this, but it takes like 2 to 5 minutes, so we will run that beforehand. So we don't have to wait for that to finish while we're presenting. And we'll just show the results, the empty ARP table and then the populated ARP table. After we'll have 2 OpenShell terminals that show each. And so anyway, that's the first thing the script will do, is prompt you to either run the scan or not. Then we went over what happens if you said yes. If you say no, it's what we did was we went online and did found a website that had a valid MAC address generator, and so we just generated a random one that's valid, and we set that manually in the code, and it's going to try that random MAC address first. If it can get through with that random MAC address, then the script will stop, and you'll have internet access with that spoofed MAC. If that does not let you through, and there is that whitelist of devices that are allowed through, then the script will iterate through all of the MAC addresses from the ARP table, and it will spoof each one. That requires disabling the interface, the network interface, and then starting it back up and having it load all the DHCP settings. And so we had to put like a wait command in between each loop, and for it to reboot and then try pinging google.com, and so finally it'll stop once pinging 8.8.8.8 aka Google is successful. So a lot of this is in this write-up here, and I'll put that in Blackboard. And so now I'll end this video and start a new video with the demonstration and then combine them. And I'll send you all links to I'll put it on YouTube and send you all links to that. Okay, so we'll start off by demonstrating that we have internet connectivity right off the bat here, and so that works fine. And then we'll go into Chrome. It doesn't need to be from the Windows machine. You can do it from the Raspberry Pi's browser, and enable parental controls. And so then you go we'll go back to the Raspberry Pi and try to ping Google again. And this time it will be unsuccessful. And so we've proven that it's due to the parental control setting. And then we'll go ahead and then we'll explain the Nmap scan. Nmap is what populated our ARP table here. Last time you run ARP-A, you would get should be around here. You only get the one machine, and so that we can show them that the Nmap, but we'll have to run these commands ahead of time because they take like 2 to 5 minutes to complete. So we'll have one shell open with the ARP-A and an empty ARP table, and then we'll run the Nmap and show them the comparison. And so, and then after that, we can run the script and explain that it's going to spoof a random MAC that we generated online, just found a valid MAC address generator, and so we're first setting it to that, and so we'll do that by okay, so this is going to lose VNC viewer connection, but we won't be using VNC viewer in the presentation, so that won't be a problem. It's going to be a problem here, and you guys won't get to see a part of this project, but I'll explain what's happening in the background here. So this is asking if you want to run that nmap scan to populate the table beforehand, and we already did that, as we did it right here. Otherwise, if you clicked yes, the script would do it, but it would take a long time to run. So that's why I did it ahead of time, and we'll have to do it ahead of time for the presentation. And so we'll click no, and as of now, it's pretty much lost. Yeah, it's lost connection to VNC viewer. So on my other monitor, it's shows that the script is working fine. It's spoofing random MAC address, waiting for network interface to load settings, and then it successfully pinged google.com. And so in class, we'll be able to show that. And then right after that, we can run the ping again or something just to prove that we have internet access. And then we have a second script that I wrote called setmacback.sh. And so we'll run this. I'm just running this for now for demonstration purposes over VNC viewer. In the presentation, we will spoof the MAC and it will work. And then to demonstrate that random MAC addresses won't work and there's only devices from the whitelist that have been entered in to be allowed internet access, we will get all the MAC addresses from the ARP table and test if each of those are in the whitelist. And so that's the second half of what the script does. And so to show, oh, I didn't run the script. So now any second VNC viewer should come back online because we have set the MAC address back to what it was before.